by far the thing that has angered me the most is people claiming the underground still is valid in rock and metal. Hey all, welcome to Circle of Tone. And today, this is an impromptu video born out of rage, passion, anger, and bewilderment. All right, I'm so confused that people are bringing up the standard, the platinum standard that is the metal underground, the rock underground. The underground will always be there. The underground is worse than mainstream metal right now. This is the only time in history, metal history, where the underground sucks worse than the mainstream. I don't know what is going on. I think I do know what's going on. Let's break it down. This is from going through comments, all right? I'm just fresh from comments and I'm like, you can't just mention a word, underground, and then just walk away. You got to give me examples, because that's what's happening. Hundreds of comments, underground, 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 underground. Zero mentions of any bands. And when they do, it's something like Evil or, Copycat bands. People playing heavy metal dress up. Let's get into it. Underground. Do you know what the underground is in metal? This is the underground, all right? You have Celtic Frost Hellhammer imitators, black metal dudes, one-man band with drum machines pretending to be fucking Celtic Frost, all right? Pretending to be early, cold, uncultured, noisy, black, early blackened metal. That's practically all of it. Then you have the new wave of thrash metal, which has been around, by the way, for 15 years and won't go away, where you get guitarists dressing up with their denim war vest with the right patches. You've got to have the right patches on there. You've got to have the Exuma. You've got to have all the bands that you're copying. You've got to have that Tom Araya yell in there. Ah! Fucking millions of them. Is that the underground? No, it's copycat bullshit. What else have you got? You've got the new wave of British heavy metal with people playing, oh, he's got bullet belt. Just like Lemmy. Oh, look, he's dressing up like fucking early Iron Maiden. And they're rocking out with their Marshalls. When I say bring back 80s speed metal, I don't mean literally copy the exact thing that better bands than these guys did. That's the underground now. You have these three main genres that cover most of it, and now and then you have a slightly original sounding band, but they're shit. All right? Why is the underground in the worst state that it's ever been in when it comes to contrived copycat bullshit? And it's terrible. What it reminds me of is like the thrash scene back in the late 80s and early 90s, where it reminds me now of the local bands that were trying to copy Metallica and the rest of it, but they are the ones that are the successful underground bands. That's what it reminds me of. Local wannabes. It's not even like... Think about the difference. Let's just go to thrash, right? How different were Forbidden to the band Whiplash? Not the song Whiplash, the band Whiplash. How different were Overkill to Metallica? How different were Anthrax to Megadeth? Slayer, people are saying, oh yeah, all thrash sounded the same. No, it didn't. It sounded completely different. Did Death Angel sound anything like the top four? It's completely original. Guys coming up with their own sounds, their own styles. And now people are just copying it. They all sound like the thrash bands are trying to be Bailoff era Exodus. That's what they're trying to be. Or Exuma. They're trying to copy that old German shit too. Oh, it's so annoying. And the underground. I'm not going to quote any bands, but the underground is still there. No, it isn't. The underground is just as dead as modern metal. And I'm going to tell you why. All right. The live music scene is why modern and the underground and mainstream media sucks. All right, it's all to do with the live scene. Why is that? Let's take it back to the early rock, to the early metal. The Beatles. Before they were signed, before anybody knew who they were playing 2 or 3 gigs a day as teenagers in Germany. 2 or 3 gigs a day, every day. Bam, 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 gig, 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 gig. They will play it every single day. All right? What does that do? That's called paying your dues. It's called cutting your teeth. They didn't spring out of nowhere like 4 gorgeous guys playing amazing songs out of nowhere. You know what I mean? These were, by the time that they were signed, they were seasoned, hardened, seen it, speed taking, dedicated, obsessed. All of the good things that drive a musician, that drive real art, right? And what do they have behind them? They had some intelligent people behind them, pushing them, investing in them. It took them a while to get signed, actually, but once they did, they had the structure. That's what you need. My dad, right, was 15 years old. He looked like an elf. They had to put him on a box for band photos. He was playing every single night. He wasn't in London. He wasn't in Liverpool. He wasn't in New York. He was in Swansea, South Wales, playing every night. He could have played twice a night if he wanted to. He probably did a couple of times. At 15 years old, he was earning more than his grandfather. That live scene has gone. How are you going to get the Who? How is the Who going to happen if you don't have musicians playing every single night, and then the crop, you pick from the top guys, from these thousands of bands that are playing, and you get to maybe like pull this one and pull that one, and all of a sudden you have a fucking super group. You know? It doesn't exist anymore. Look at the birth of heavy metal, right? Black Sabbath. They were playing every night. Tour, right? Touring, blah, 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 blah. They actually went into the studio for 2 days. I know, she agrees too. They went into the studio for 2 days, recorded the album which started heavy metal, and then they went off. And then a few weeks later, Ozzy was like, "Hey, Mom, we're not going to be in the charts. I don't know why." That album was so rehearsed because they were playing it non-stop live, because they had a live scene. They didn't have all these corporatist red tape laws on venues and the rest of it. If you had a bit of scratch, you could open up your own venue, and now there's no moshing. You can't even do cover versions without having license issues and liquor licenses and all sorts of corporatist shit which stops the live scene. All right, it's the live music scene is why the underground is dead and mainstream metal is dead, because nobody is playing to people. You have, right? My dad would have a visual representation of what was good. He'd be on stage, and if he plays a certain beat a certain way with a certain feel, the women start dancing, the guys get into it, and if they get raucous, they know which ones are getting the boys, the guys going, and then the fucking fights going off and the shit. They can see what works. How are you going to see what works with you, Mr. Black Metal guy, Mr. Underground Black Metal guy? How are you going to see what works with a fucking drum machine in your little mom's basement? You know what I mean? You got to get out there. I keep saying it. You've got to rehearse. You've got to get as many gigs, scratch, get that human element back in it. It's gone. The underground is deader than mainstream metal. And the funny thing is, mainstream metal now is smaller than the underground of the 80s. Because nobody gives a shit. Because they can see soulless pop music when they hear it. The underground is karaoke. In underground, you can't just mention the underground, which is sacred. The underground is fucking sacred. You can't just mention the underground and walk away. You have to give me specifics. Why do you think I'm getting into Belgian proto-grunge? Why do you think I'm getting into these weird bands in the middle of nowhere? If you want some underground, punk is the place to go, because there's actually a decent underground for punk. Like Dead Kittens. Go and look at Dead Kittens Happy. Just go YouTube that shit and get your tits blown off, because it's fucking good. You won't find any of that in metal. You're going to find some guy doing dank with his heavy metal 2-pedal and his fucking drum machine. You know what I mean? Rehashing Entombed, rehashing Hellhammer, rehashing black metal bullshit. You know what I mean? Black and roll. Yawn. It's been done. Oh, Jesus Christ. Underground. Don't come to me with the underground. All right. Back on track. Somebody said in the comments, the problem with the young musicians today is it's a me generation. It's actually not a me generation. There isn't enough personality for the me. It's a copycat generation. Now kids they want to be Ninja or they want to be Shroud. They want to be online gamers. They're not saying, what do I want to do? They're like, I see that. He make money, he play game. I want to do that. And then all of a sudden everyone's fucking streaming and they're not playing guitar. You know what I mean? They need a rock star. They need somebody going, holy shit, I want to be that. You know what I mean? Just respect and musicianship and swagger and fucking genius and well rehearsed genius. And that's it. I'm so sick of these comments on my heavy metal sucks. And right, the funny thing is, I used to walk miles to go to. I actually, there's one point where I had to walk to I got a bus to Swansea when I was a teenager to go to. There's tape trading and album swaps and things like that. And I went there and I was holding Ride of Lightning picture disc, and it was bus fare or just get this picture disc. And I bought the picture disc and I walked home 7 miles, all uphill in the snow. No, but it was through gang territory. The LCT, you Swansea guys might remember the LCT, the Landor City Terrorways, who if they see me with long hair, I'm going to get my ass beat. So I had to go through enemy territory with my long hair holding a fucking album, risking my life for that. And so I did all that shit, right? I actually copied tapes and send them, friends, we'd all trade and the rest of it. I do that. I was a software test technician, right, for a bleeding edge tech company. And people are saying, oh, you have to look. I can't move a fucking mouse. I can't move a mouse to find bands in the underground. And then they say, oh yeah, you got to go and look at your local scene. You'll find them. I could go to every venue in Florida and not find a good rock band, not find a good metal band. Every single one, I guarantee it. I might find someone that has character and at least has attitude and a bit of originality, but long term, it's not going to be viable. They don't exist. They don't have places to play. They don't have places to rehearse. So how are they going to get as good as The Who? How are they going to get as good as Queen? How many gigs did Queen play? You know what I mean? The music scene is dead when it comes to guitar, and we need to realize it, and we need to petition governments to open up the dead downtown areas, because it's all been sanitized. Open up derelict buildings for musicians, bands, artists, anything. We need to get culture back into downtown, because now every corner of America is looking like a Walmart, a Walgreens, a fucking CVS, and it's the same in Britain with your Asda's, which is what used to be Walmart. They've taken over. I actually wrote a song called Woodfield Street. There was my old neighborhood used to be old school butchers, local grocers, local fishmongers, and local bars and the pubs, old school pubs. The whole thing, the whole strip was just beautiful. Asda came in, Walmart, and everybody, because everything was like a few cents, a few pennies cheaper, they all fucking forsake. Everybody in America did the same thing, and now Walmart are everywhere, and Main Street is dead. Okay, the same thing happened to every aspect. Corporatism has killed every scene, all culture. All right, including the underground, especially the underground. So yeah, I'm so sick of these comments. Like, I don't know how to push a mouse around to find a band. Do you think I've been trying? How do you think I know? Apparently, all you got to do is have a bullet belt and and all of a sudden you're the underground because you do a certain pose and you wear leather pants. You're the underground now. No, you're not. You're a charlatan. So I'm pointing my finger at you, the underground. You suck. So does modern metal. So does my band. So does your band. And we need to sort it out. We need to save our music, save our scene. And how do we do that? Live music is the key to it. It doesn't have to be live. It can be rehearsals. If you get in a dank basement, why do you think Seattle was big? They had places to play. Everyone's basement could be a venue. You know what I mean? Need to bring it back. Make some effort. Get rid of the metronome. Get rid of the computer. And maybe we can save the underground. All right. I guess please subscribe? ? I know I've said before, all my demographic, they tend to be my age and the rest of it. And you don't tweet, you don't share, because it's lame. But please, you can really help me out. People have been subscribing recently, and that's awesome. All right, chaps. If you want to talk about this further, I have a Facebook group called Circle of Tone. Come join. I answer all questions in the group. And it's been a bit hectic on the video. I usually answer all questions on the videos, but it's been hectic recently because they've been getting quite a few views. You can directly support me by going to circleoftone.com because I am the starving musician that nobody pays. So you can buy my pickups or my distortion pedal, or you can just, drop me $5 via PayPal, that type of thing. And donate. Don't hate, donate. I was going to say it's business as usual, but the comments I've been reading, the people telling me who the underground is, please, go back to school, okay? Bye-bye. Save the underground. Oh, and the most important thing, if you take anything from this video, I mean this with all my heart, bring back 80s speed metal. But don't fucking copy it. Try and be original. But play speed metal.